Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope that everybody's having a wonderful weekend. Sorry that I was a little bit MIA last week. I was traveling the weekend before and it messed me up for the whole week. I had to kind of get myself back in rhythm before I could get myself back in rhythm with you guys. So I just wanted to pop on here today and address kitty cat. And address one of the most common questions that I get as a nutrition coach. So as you're jumping on, let me know if you're team live or team replay. And what I'm going to be talking about today is how to think of things to eat. Because one of the most common questions I get asked is, well, what should I eat? Or, I never can think of things to eat. So if this is something you struggle with, give me like an emoji below to let me know that this is a good topic to choose. So let's hope that my cat doesn't get in the way anymore. But I'm going to give you some tips to help you think of things to eat throughout the week. I will never tell you what to eat, because if I tell you what to eat, then as soon as I stop telling you what to eat, you won't know how to do it yourself. So I'm a huge proponent of not telling people what to eat, but instead teaching them how to eat. However, I do understand that coming up with healthy options throughout the week can be difficult. Sometimes it's just hard to think of them because you're like, I don't know what I want, right? So here are a few different tips. First, I want you to always keep my plate in mind. So if you guys haven't watched my videos on the plate method, then I want you to go watch those first. So the plate is half fruits and vegetables, a quarter grains, and a quarter protein. So when you're making your meal, I want you to focus on making your plate look like that. So you need vegetables, you need a protein, you need a grain at all of your meals. So the most simple way to come up with a healthy, well-balanced meal is to pick one in every category and then combine them all together. So my favorite vegetable, right now at least, is Brussels sprouts. One of my favorite grains is quinoa, and one of my favorite proteins is canned beans. So sometimes I just pick one of each and throw them all together, and sometimes I just mix them all up, and that's my meal. Sorry, he's being super needy. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to start with the one thing that you want really bad. So like I just said, my plate is the best way to make a well-balanced meal, or the plate method. But if you're struggling to come up with where to start, pick one thing that you're really craving right now. So for example, yesterday was football, right? Saturday is football. So one thing that everybody was craving is wings. So what I did was I started with wings. For me, I chose boneless wings because I hate eating things off of a bone. It's just a personal preference. So I chose boneless wings. I got some wings and made them for my boyfriend as well. And that was our protein. And then I built the meal around that. So I was like, okay, well, I still need a starch and a vegetable. So what can I have? So for veggies, we did celery and carrot sticks. And then for a starch, we made a side pasta salad. So I started with what everybody was craving and then kind of built a meal around that kind of made sense. So always use the plate method. If you're struggling with where to start, think of whatever you're craving right now. Number 3, use resources online. There are so many recipes out there or so many websites that can help you with recipes. So if you're struggling with where to start, Google some recipes and then modify them. So one example that I always think of is a lot of people really like pasta Alfredo. So if pasta Alfredo is what you want for dinner that night, then start with that, find a recipe, but then modify it. So most of the time, pasta Alfredo is just a protein, just a starch. So modify it to include some vegetables. So what I do is half the amount of pasta that it tells me to use, half the amount of dairy and cheese, but then I add broccoli, and I add enough so that it takes up about half of the meal. And that's just what works for me. So go out, find recipes, but you can always modify them to make them easier to cook, because sometimes recipes have like a bajillion ingredients, but also add more vegetables to them and add the ones that you really like and you want to eat. And number 4 is to keep a running list. So when you find things that you really like and that have helped you with making good meals throughout the week, keep a list of those ideas. We have one hanging on our fridge so that when I'm like, oh, I don't know what to eat, I can go down the list and think of things that I know we like and that I know can be a staple in our house, aren't going to be too time consuming to, do. And a lot of times we keep those items in our house so that I can throw something together on a whim. And that way we can go down the list and think, oh, well, what am I feeling tonight? Like there's not like a set thing that we have planned and that we have to now eat. So always use the plate method. Make half your plate fruits or vegetables, a quarter protein, a quarter starch. 2, start with something that you're craving and then build off of that. 3, Google recipes and modify them to fit the plate method. And 4, keep a running list. I hope that these have been helpful. They're definitely what help me on a daily basis. And if you have any questions about them at all, leave them in the comments below and I will be sure to answer them. And I'm sorry that my cat was so clingy this morning. I don't know why. Usually on the weekends he's fine because I'm not here. Or I am here, so he's used to me being around. But I hope you guys think he's cute at least. Bye, guys.